This student from Oxford gave an absolutely incredible speech about how Democrats are the real threat to democracy, and he did it in Nancy Pelosi's face. She even responded a couple times. Take a look.
Before COVID, intelligence services colluded with big tech to have Trump suspended off Twitter. Yes, the same platform which hosted the Taliban and Ayatollah deaf to Israel Khomeini, they thought the president crossed the line when he tweeted on Jan 6th, quote, "Remain peaceful, no violence, respect the law and our great men and women in blue." That's a quote. You may be thinking now that Trump is a populist. You are right. He didn't accept the 2020 elections, and he should have. So should Hillary in 2016, so should Brussels, and so should Westminster in 2016, and so too should Congresswoman Pelosi, instead of saying the 2016 election was, quote, hijacked. Quote, hijacked. Thank you. Okay. What about the mainstream media? Let me read you some mainstream media headlines. The New Yorker, the day before the 2016 election. The case against democracy. The Washington Post, the day after the election. The problem with our government is democracy. The LA Times, June 2017. The British election is a reminder of the perils of too much democracy. Vox, June 2017. The two eminent political scientists say the problem with democracy is voters. New York Times, June 2017. The problem with participatory democracy is the participants. Mainstream media elites are part of a class who don't just disdain populism, they disdain the people. If the Democrats had put half their energy into delivering for the people, Trump wouldn't even have a chance in 2024. He shouldn't have a chance. You've had power for 4 years. From the fabricated Steele dossier to trying to take him off the ballot in both Maine and Colorado, the Democrats are the anti-Democrat party. All we need now is the Republicans to come out as the pro-monarchist party. Ladies and gentlemen, populism is not a threat to democracy, but I'll tell you what is. It's elites ordering social media to censor political opponents. It's police shutting down dissenters, be it anti-monarchists in this country or gender-critical voices here, or last week in Brussels, the National Conservative movement. I'll tell you what is a threat to democracy. It's Brussels, DC, Westminster, the mainstream media, big tech, big pharma, corporate collusion, and the Davos cronies. The threat to democracy comes from those who write off ordinary people as deplorable. The threat to democracy comes from those who smear working people as racist. The threat to democracy comes from those who write off working people as populists. And I'll say one last thing. This populist age can be brought to an end at the snap of a finger. All that needs to be done is for elites to start listening to, respecting, and, God forbid, working for ordinary people. Thank you.
So you can't not watch that speech as a conservative and not get a little bit hyped up. This is why conservatives need to be prepared, because when and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to be as rote as that guy. He obviously had a good speech written down, but just a few talking points of no, conservatives and Trump and MAGA Republicans, they're not the threat to democracy. There's actually some very, very consistent things in the world that we've kind of seen throughout history that are threats to democracy. And it happens to be that Joe Biden and Democrats are the ones doing all of those things. The reason why Biden, though, is the gaslighter in chief is because of the simple fact that everything they claim that Trump will do if he is elected didn't happen in his first term. In fact, a lot of what he claims Donald Trump will do, Joe Biden is actively doing as he's president. It turns out that we already know what Trump is like as a president. You hear Joe Biden over and over again. If Donald Trump gets into, sorry, this is such a bad Biden, it wasn't really a Biden voice, but I'm not going to even try it because I don't want to mock an old man. But he says things like, if Donald Trump is going to be in office, this is going to happen and this is going to happen and democracy is going to erode. And it's like, dude, we had him as president for 4 years. We already know what a Trump presidency is like. On the other hand, though, we have also had a Biden presidency for almost 4 years right now. And with the media and the progressive cult behind him, some people could be fooled and think that he's somehow protecting democracy. But for the vast majority of people, you look at your life between Biden and Trump, you think to yourself, have unelected bureaucrats become more powerful under Trump or under Biden? And the answer is Biden every time. Also, if you put Biden on paper, this includes the policy, like his bad policies that aren't necessarily threats to democracy, as well as his literal threats to democracy. If you put him on paper, Biden is so awful. Again, if he's dressed up, you have the progressive cult behind him. He's got celebrities that are protecting him, media. There's some people that could be fooled, especially because your average day American isn't that into politics. So I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to those people who think that Biden maybe has done a decent job. I think they're a little crazy, but there's so much working against them that I understand that could happen. But what I'm saying is Biden on paper is absolutely horrendous for democracy or anything. Like it doesn't matter. He just sucks at his job. Bad policies aside, Biden and the left try to overturn democracy every single day by suppressing information, censoring conservatives, barring Republicans from ballot. Again, these are things that he is claiming Trump is going to do, but Biden is actively doing them. He's barring Republicans from ballots, like Trump trying to put Trump in jail through his DOJ, expanding the bureaucracy outside of elected officials, like the vax mandate. We have the Department of Education, etc. All the three-letter agencies. Also, speaking of bureaucracy in America, many people have pointed out that America is in fact not a democracy. And the way that people say that sometimes is incorrect, but in one sense, they're totally correct. We are a republic. However, at the same time, a republic is a type of democracy. But the reason why I bring that up is because the reason why a republic is so much more robust than a democracy, and the Founding Fathers wrote extensively on this. I mean, the Federalist Papers just alone, they speak to this. But the reason why a republic is so much more powerful than a democracy is because we have elected officials that are then accountable to the people, and they're the ones that make the decisions for Americans. The problem is, and what Democrats want, and this goes all the way back to FDR and Woodrow Wilson, and it comes all the way up the ladder to what we have right now with Joe Biden, is that instead of our elected representatives who we can keep accountable, they can do something awful for 2 years, 4 years, sure, 6 years as a senator, but bureaucrats cannot be held accountable. And what you'll notice through every single Democrat president, again, from Woodrow Wilson all the way to Joe Biden, is that instead of giving power to elected representatives, they just want to keep aggrandizing the bureaucracy because those people cannot be held accountable. Jerome Powell is not held accountable in the same way that Joe Biden is. Neither is Mayorkas, neither is the head of the DOJ, neither is the head of the Department of Education, any of those people. This is why true conservatives oppose most three-letter agencies and remind other people that we are in fact a republic, not a majoritarian democracy. Because in a majoritarian democracy, which is what most progressives wish we had because they want to they want to get rid of the Electoral College, is that the majority rules. But our founding fathers understood that the majority rules is a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea, and it's because they can then cudgel the minorities into submission and things go awry. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.